Alright guys, this is going to be your bit of a crash course to the man. It's not going to have a whole lot of detail, but it's going to be enough to kind of get you started. I'm actually working in the test site for the man, so anything you see here is not going to get saved. So Rick, if you're watching this, I'm pretending I'm you, but none of this is saved on the real site. When you get into the man, the first thing you're going to come to is the advisor dashboard. I'll do another kind of a crash course on advising, but let's kind of focus on how to enter grades and not do all that kind of stuff. When you go to your grade book, and keep in mind guys, I'm signed in as an administrator, so this is going to show everybody's, again, fake data in the grade books. Yours will automatically come up with your name and your list of courses. The quarter will also already be automatically chosen for you. The administrators to the site open and close grade books as we need them. You select the course you want to work in. In this case, I'm going to pretend that I'm Jason and I'm working here in Geometry, Section 6. You're going to see your list of kids' names and nothing else because you haven't made any assignments to go in here. Before you can make assignments, though, you need to make your learning targets. To make your learning targets, go to Classroom, Learning Target Zone, which makes sense. And then over here where it says Learning Target Creation Zone. So if I'm doing geometry, I'm going to filter these down a little bit. Helps me kind of search things a little bit. So it starts with the subject, then the conceptual category, the strand. Maybe in geometry we're going to start off with some measurement dimension first. Right there I'm already down to only 4 of these. I'm not going to bother with topic because I already see 4. When I want to select a standard, because you have to tie a learning target to every learning target has to be tied to a standard. Don't just click on it like this. Make sure you click the select button. Sometimes the system's a little picky, so if you don't click that select button, it doesn't work. Once you do that, come down and select the course you want it to go to. Your list is not like this at all. Your list will only show with your courses and not every possible course. So I'm going to put this to geometry. The reason it's tied to course is so that way if several of you or more than one of you are planning the same course, you can write learning targets for each other. If you tie it to a geometry course, every person who teaches a geometry section will be able to see it. So let's say, this learning target, I'm going to say student can find volume of a sphere without using a formula. So maybe we're going to start this off and kids are going to, practice by using gallon jugs and filling, volleyballs, or I don't know, something like that. So the short title is really important for you, but for no other purpose. The reason is to display this learning target in all of our data reports is really, really difficult. It makes the reports look terrible because you have to squish all those words in there. The short title, I believe it's 10 or 15 characters. It's very, very short. And it's for you to identify what the learning target is. So for me, I'm going to put sphere and F for no formula. You can call these whatever you want to call them. If you just want to have a list, call it learning target 1, learning target 2, learning target 3, just as long as you can identify it later. I can also say, you know what, there's going to be a couple of learning targets for this. I'm also going to do that student can find volume of a sphere with using a formula. So student can find volume of a sphere, if I spell right. This does not have spell check with it, guys, so do check yourself. So student can find volume of a sphere with a formula. And my short title I'm going to change, just kind of match the other one. Again, check your spelling. Sphere F, so sphere with formula. You can do this as many times as you want. If you've got more than 5 learning targets to a standard, you can even click add more, and it's going to add all kinds of space here. You can do that as many times as you want. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click save, and it's all saved successfully. Then you come down to the bottom. Those learning targets you made, you can now assign them to a group. The group really doesn't show up anywhere. It's simply for your purposes to help you when you do filtering and things like that. So maybe I'm going to put these as maybe this whole unit's all about spheres and nothing else. So I'm going to put it as sphere, and that's going to be the group there. Again, that's just to kind of help you find them later. It's nothing important at all. Okay, so now I've got my learning targets made. Now I can go back and make myself some assignments. So I go back to Classroom and Gradebook. If you missed that before, I went Classroom and Gradebook. That's where we went. Again, yours will default to where it should be, being this is last year's gradebook and on the test site, and in admin it shows up kind of funny. So if you ever notice the site is running extra slow for you, slower than normal, please let one of the managers know. That would be Feltner, Miller, Appleton, myself, Taylor, or Sattler. And if it's running slow for lots of people, then we can get the programmers to figure out. If it's running slow for just you, it might be a computer issue that Nikki can help you with. So here I am in quarter one. Again, I still see just a list of names and nothing else. We need to add a new assignment. You can add a new assignment from this pretty pink button here. You can also do it from Classroom Assignments. When you do it from Classroom Assignments, it's annoying because there's one extra step. When you do it from here, it knows what grade book you're in, and it's automatically going to put it to that grade, to that course. Okay. So the assignment name. So maybe this is homework. Maybe this is homework from yesterday. Short title, again, with the assignments, you have to have a short title. It defaults to the first few characters from the whole name, which normally is good enough. But again, it's just for displaying purposes. The really, really long titles just show up terribly. The due date, you really want to make sure you're good with these due dates. Make them exactly when it was due. That's going to help you later if you need to figure out if a kid needs to turn something in. It will also show up on a student's missing assignment list if they didn't do it, and that's going to help them remember, oh, I was absent that day or something like that. Once you, I need to change this back to 2012. Sorry, guys. Again, this will default right to where you need it. There we go. Okay. When you put in the date, it's automatically going to determine the school term and the grading period. You don't have to do anything with those. The assignment type, this is a homework. The course section, the best part is that you can give this to multiple courses. So we're going to give it to all of those courses because I want this homework is due in all of my classes, so I'm going to have it due in there. And we're going to say this whole homework is worth 20 points. However, because students can correct their homework in math or whatever your policy is, we're going to call this a formative grade or formative assessment. The 0 weight, ignore it. Never, ever, ever do anything with that 0 weight. It doesn't work. The plan is to eventually have it to where you could mark things as 0 weight so that you can see true formative assessment without it affecting their grade. But the math on that does not work right now, and we need some PD on that. So the next thing I see is down here, I have my learning targets I need to assign to this. Since I only have 2 learning targets created for this course, that's all I can choose from. By the end of the year, all of your learning targets are going to show up in this list. You might have 50, 60 of them. So you can sort by group, or if you know the specific words in your learning target, you can do that. Let's say this first homework assignment is simply just this very first learning target about finding volume of a sphere without using a formula. Maybe I had them write about it. I can go ahead and do that. Now down here you have 2 options. You can save, which is going to save this assignment and then keep this window open. So if you're entering a bunch of assignments at once, you can do that. Save and exit is going to save it and take it back to the gradebook. I'm just going to save because I want to create a second assignment. So I'm going to go back up here, and we're going to say we have our quiz over spheres. Our first quiz. Notice it kind of cut off the short title because it only does the first ones. So I may fix this. Just you leave a Q, so it's a quiz over spheres. And let's say this one is due back to 2012. Let's say this is August 21st. Again, it automatically fills those in for you. The assignment type, this is a quiz. Again, I'm going to put this to all of my sections of geometry, and it'll show up for all of them, which is fantastic. I'm going to say this one's worth 35 points. They had a lot to do on this. But I'm still going to call this a formative assessment. Maybe at this point, it's just their first quiz. It's not terribly important as far as final grade, but I know it's kind of telling me and telling them what they need to fix before that major assessment we're going to do. This quiz, though, because it covers all of my topics, it has all of the learning targets on it. So I'm going to select multiple ones. This button up here at the top lets you select all of them at once. Assign that. Now, here's what's interesting when you have multiple learning targets. Possible is 35 points. I have to tell it how many points for each one of these, though. Maybe as a math teacher, maybe, the formula itself isn't all that important. I'm going to give them 10 points for, the plugging and chugging on that formula. But I'm going to give them another 25 points for being able to find the volume without using a formula, because, it's important that they have that conceptual idea. So now I'm done with all my assignments. I'm going to click Save and Exit, and those are going to pop up here now in my gradebook. So some things you can see right away, this little bar graph up here, your LT analysis, your learner target analysis, when you click on it, it just makes it bigger. It now tells me the weight. So I can see of my students' grade, about 82% of their grade is coming from the learning target of not using a formula. And only about 18% of their grade is coming from the learning target of using a formula. This is why it's really important to try and type some of these in ahead of time so that you can see how it's going to affect your gradebook. Before you actually start grading the papers, you can say, oh, wow, well, I need to make this section worth more points or this one worth less, so that actually is what I want it to be. Entering grades is actually really, really easy. Notice this one here has a little summation symbol, Greek. That tells you that this is just the sum of two indicators, or sorry, two learning targets. The little plus sign is going to expand it. So now you can enter individually on all of these. So you go through, you can use the arrow keys, the enter button, the tab, they all work. Down here it kind of tells you three little things to keep in mind. E just means it's not evaluated. It does not count against the kids. If you type in an M, it counts the assignment as missing and also scores it as a 0. And then at C, you can enter comments. So we're just going to go through the list here. Overall, the kids did great on their first assignment here for me. This guy I'm going to leave as an E because he missed the first 3 days of school, so I'm not going to make him do it. This student was missing. This one was missing. This one I'm going to leave as an E, but I'm going to put a little C with it. So I hit the letter C, and this pops up. And I'm going to say, student was absent, day assignment was due, must turn in by August 20th. This is where you can almost keep little notes to yourself, because it's going to be easy to remember. When I go back and look at my grade book, see my little bubble that popped up? If you hover your mouse over it, the comment shows up. And I can say, oh, well, Quentin was supposed to turn this in. He never did. I need to go hunt him down. I need to change it to a 0 or something like that. Okay? So you just kind of click through here, type in all your grades. I would suggest as the quarter gets near the end, use Firefox, because sometimes this part can go too slow. Once you've typed in all the grades you want, there's just this little save button down here, and you click save. And that's it. You can always go back and see, and we'll go into more of this later, but when you click on a student's name, there's all kinds of data analysis about them and how they're doing in your class. This graph will tell you what their overall grade is based on assignment. So if they start off high and then go low and then go back up, it's going to show you that over the quarter how their grade changed. So that's your crash course. It's pretty straightforward, but if you have questions, come and ask any of us.